carries three.
Johnny Walker, matching up against control. His shot, Bruce score, they score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off and buries the puck.
Daniels takes the shot for Kirby.
There I am. Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Carrottenuto at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. And man, early National Signing Day. I told you yesterday about the more so transfer portal guys that are already committed, but high school wise, who they're bringing in, and you know, in the 11th hour, sometimes people flip. I mean, it happened. It happened earlier today. Happened a few times today. But man, the Sun Devils have been busy. Pardon me. The Sun Devils have been busy, and like I said, I mean, they were in the transfer portal. You saw who they were aiming for. They addressed a lot today. Yes, Raleek Brown. He signed, the young man, the transfer from USC. And Chris Carpenter put out an interesting tweet. I mean, basically, this young man. This young man could be in contention for the best athlete on the team. And again, if you saw what he did at USC, I mean, the shiftiness, everything, he's again, he can definitely ball out. And he is part of the long list of transfer portal guys. Well, average size list. Can't really say long list, but part of the list, sorry, of transfer portal signees led the way, and the transfer portal guys, nobody has, from everything I've put out on X at Diablo00, you've seen, nobody has flipped, nobody's having second thoughts, and it's awesome. Awesome to see that. Again, you can see the show live here on X, also on Instagram Live, IG Live. Just started doing that yesterday, so figuring things out as I go on that. But anyway, nonetheless, IG Live and on the YouTube. Guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, it's if you've missed any shows, and again, you've missed a ton of interviews, and yes, we'll have quite a few more to say the least. We will have quite a few more interviews, which again, as we go forward, but players, coaches, see, some of these guys. Also, a few local kids, high school wise, signing with ASU. With again, with some of these players, a lot of local kids, not a lot, but quite a few local kids, which again, talking about keeping local kids home. And one of those young men is an alum of Horizon High School. Well, is a current student, but soon will be and that's Canyon Floyd, the punter. He again in an area that, yes, because of, I know Sun Devil fans, surprise, right? Not an excuse, facts, but because of injury, punting again was a challenge at times last year. So that is that I mean, this is a huge thing, and plus, he'll get a chance to obviously contribute, play right away, and again, working with again Charlie, assistant head coach Charlie Regal, again, who we've had on, and again looking to reach out to Canyon, looking to get him on the show. So again, special teams, hey, kick one of the best shirts. And again, I didn't say, we used to say it all the time, but kickers and punters are people too. Like it's, but it would say kickers are people too. But no, I mean, again, just excited for this young man. Also, Carter Lavruski, son of a good friend of mine that I've known since our days at Horizon High School. Her son is going to fellow Big 12 foe now for football, Kansas. So again, congratulations to Carter. And he'll be probably playing tackle. Again, I mean, he could play some guard as well, offensively. But well, obviously there's no defensive guard, but sorry. Nonetheless, he is headed to Kansas. But yeah, for ASU again, and I'll get into it. All the again signees today, whether it was again transfer portal guys that I definitely let you know about, and also again high school kids. But and I can't again, like I said, looking to have obviously also after today, but Coach Mons back on because just a few things. The difference in recruiting, obviously, the last 5 years now. The transfer portal's been around 4 years, 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been. But just the difference in recruiting. That is one thing that I, again, talking, like, look forward to talking again with Coach Mons, who's been, and again, as coaches, when they coach at the high school level and you have, have players that come through that are really good, when you have, you built a winning program and you've been to, multiple, obviously, years of playoffs, state championships, you get both sides of recruiting. Of course, you're going to bat for, your guys. But just with the transfer portal, how it's changed. So I want to get into that. But again, a very, very busy, obviously, morning up to this point, depending where you are in the country. And obviously us here being on the left coast, as I always say on the sports arena. It's one of those things that it's one of those things that it's one of those things that when you look at it, how it affects high school kids. I mean, obviously how COVID did too. They were saying, that is a big thing. And now we're pretty much, I mean, it's not as big I know, overstating the obvious. Thank you, Captain Obvious, right? You guys are saying that. It's not as big as as it was obviously 2 years ago. Because with, eligibility and not counting against players and, how's that going to affect, recruiting in general? I mean, not just, transfer portal. And, what it did scholarship wise, and obviously, not counting against, and, it's not like they expanded the amount of scholarships. So, even transfer portal wise, if guys, yes, they could hit the portal. But now, I mean, we're getting out of, the COVID, the extra year. Yeah, the extra year of, getting further away from it. So again, there's a few, I mean, and in all sports, I'm not just saying just football, but I mean, in all sports, I mean, think about it. Cause basketball, I mean, don't have, like football, you have 85 scholarship players. Basketball, obviously 13 players on the team, maybe 14, but still, like, it made it very interesting. So we're kind of getting out of that. So I think high school wise, kids are, and look, if you're good and you're talented, yes, you're going to be recruited. Yes, you are going to land somewhere. Coaches, obviously are paid to see that, will see that, and can do it. So, yeah, it's just very exciting. But like I said, a very, very exciting day, obviously for a lot, but ASU again, adding a lot. No dings of anybody flipping again. Watching the ASU, the signees. I mean, again, all over Twitter. And by the way, the videos. I mean, these schools and departments are getting just so creative and so. So things you can do on the internet. But yeah, what they did when guys signed and the videos that, even they've done the last few years, but what they put together this year, Yeah, I mean the creative team for ASU football, the what they've done and how they've done it. If you go on, if you follow ASU football on Twitter. They Sun Devil football is just at ASU football. And if you follow it again, you can see the timeline, what the creative group did. Absolutely awesome as these players come in. So a lot signing. The ASU women, by the way, transition, we're going to be talking about on the show today. Yes, a lot of signing, but the ASU women's hoops right now is playing Fresno State in the Jerry Colangelo Hall of Fame series, which is at Footprint Center, is in which where I will be after this. So the men play tonight, but there's a few games there today. So I will be down there and very happy to obviously be down there. And right now, the end of the first quarter, 19-18. The Devils are up on the Bulldogs. So let's go, Lady Devils, as they play Fresno State. The men, like I said, tonight, they will take on 25th ranked Northwestern at the Footprint Center. Yeah, they will take on 25th ranked Northwestern at the Footprint Center. And Arizona is still the only Pac-12 team in the rankings. They did fall to former number one, and now number one again, Purdue, because they were number 3. Arizona was number 1. Purdue did beat Arizona in a close game, but still Arizona, the number 4 team in the country. That was Arizona's first loss. So 8-1 overall for the Cats. Purdue's 10-1. Kansas 10-1. Houston's still 11-0, and they're up 1 spot, but Arizona dropped 3 to number 4. But yeah, you look at the rankings. I mean, BYU, who ASU had that tough loss to, and I credit the broadcaster real quick because during that ASU game, you figure, but he said there's no way BYU is the 11th best team in the Big 12. He goes, not that it's not going to be a tough conference, but just he goes, and he wasn't just overreacting from that game. And I have to go back and look who the analyst was for that game, but nonetheless, I mean, ASU playing a really, really tough team. Playing a really tough team, and playing a really tough team in that, and he BYU is a really tough team, and he wasn't overreacting, like I said, to the game because they were, how they were beating ASU. But just, obviously having covered them and seen them in, their first year in the Big 12 and, understandably first year in the conference, but yeah, BYU is 17 in the AP poll. They're actually 15 in the coaches poll, which is the SID's poll. I don't understand why throughout the years they have not renamed it the SID's Bowl, because that's what it is. And I always say this, it's not ripping on the coaches. If you're a coach and you could literally sit there and, know 24 other teams basically, and if you're outside the top 25, wherever you see the AP, and, if you go to, actually Northwestern fell out. They were 25. So Northwestern actually fell out of the rankings. I mean, they did receive votes to stay in, but Washington, hey, the Huskies actually getting some votes. They got 2, and I'm sure it's from the writers in Washington. But nonetheless, hey, you keep winning and it goes up. So, Colorado's the highest pack. Colorado and Utah. Colorado's on the brink of the top 25 as well, and that's no surprise. And with Utah right there as well. So, but yeah, for ASU, again, they're taking on, Northwestern, which again may have fell out top 25, but still, it's a big game for the Devils, and you want to get back on track, having dropped, obviously, like I said, the game to USD. I mean, that's tough, and especially the way it went down, and then you drop that game to TCU on Saturday, which the first half overall solid. The second half, I mean, the wheels came off. And of course, I don't talk out of both sides of my mouth, because everybody says a team didn't do this. Well, yes, the team didn't do a lot of things, and there were some open shots that the team missed as well. But there's a team across from you that is punching you in the mouth, figuratively. Like Mike Tyson always says, hey, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Then what's your plan? And it, yes, it relates so much more to, obviously, straight line to boxing, but in any sport, and in basketball, in men's hoops, ASU's basketball hoops has been punched in the mouth a few times. And, they got punched in the mouth in that game. And how do you adjust? I'm not saying they didn't, but there's a team across from you. So in this, and I'm not saying that's Bobby Hurley, and I'm not saying it's every single coach, but I don't know. I want to say, I kid around with my friends, but ever since and it's been a minute now, but since 2000, since the turn of the century, I feel like one of those old school history shows for you history buffs out there, besides my sister. But, since the turn of the century, it's always, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Understandably. And yes, when they're looking at it, in football, when you have coaches, up in the coaching box and seeing, obviously the play develop and say, oh man, okay, something was right there. A throw was there, or, oh, he went to the wrong guy on the block because look how open that was outside of that. Like, I get that. I'm not saying there's not mistakes, but it's always, we didn't do this. It's never, and times, yes. I mean, it's not that they don't say, hey, hats off to the other team, but it's, we didn't do this. Well, the other team was making sure, was efforting you to not do that. And to not sound too simplistic, I guess, and you could say even, barbaric days of sports and how it evolved. And, I mean, a forward pass wasn't legal in football for, 100 years ago, whatever. But there's somebody across from you, and it's those in-game adjustments. And I'm not saying ASU doesn't make them. I'm saying Coach Fuller makes excuses. I'm just tangent a little bit, because you always hear like, oh, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. And yeah, coaches have that mindset because they know what they've worked on with their team, what they've drawn up, how they need to do it. And it's like, okay, well, we didn't do that. And if the other team adjusted, how do you counter punch back? ASU needs the men's need a big counter, as do the women today. I mean, they're up 19-18, like I said, on Fresno State. We're up going into the second, as do the women need today. But that is how I will not look at it saying, oh, well, they just didn't do this or that. Yes, I will say they didn't do it. And yeah, if you're missing wide open shots, if nobody is on you, for this example, like nobody's within 5, 6, 7 feet of you, and you're constantly missing those, and you're missing layups, then yeah, there's a lot you didn't do. And your coach could say to the team, hey, they were in the right spots. Shots didn't fall in that case. But ASU, again, needs a big both hoops programs need a big kind of let's battle. and go from there. So, yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But look, I'm going to step aside real quick. When I get back, I am going to jump into early National Signing Day. It is usually that February was like, the national holiday day, but now this with close to the holidays and, kids finishing up class and, okay, it's not too bad. And it's always one of those things where, it's always one of those things where, yeah, it's always one of those things where recruiting wise, like I said, this is exciting. So I'm going to step aside. When we get back, we'll talk about that. I will bring you, again, we'll go through, like, I mentioned Malik Brown athletic wise. It is exciting. Again, getting to watch quite a bit of USC. This young man is ridiculous, but defensive guys they've brought in, one of the corners is from LSU, which, hey, all I know is they've produced a lot of good DBs, but ASU also having a very good juju, you could say, with transfer portal SEC corners. And again, I'm not saying players aren't talented in the best conference, but we'll get into it. Step aside. We'll be back right after this with more here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratinito at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter is where you can find me, the show, also Instagram Live and Facebook, IG Live and YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You miss any of this, again, ton of interviews that are already there. More are coming. Again, busy time, but scheduling. More are coming. And yeah, just a very, very excited about all of this. So, but yeah, go to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. And you can, again, go back, see the interviews, not just coaches, but players. insiders, all that good stuff. All right. All that good stuff. Again, it's on the YouTube channel. So subscribe. You want to get involved, hit me up on Twitter, message me, drop some stuff in the comments. Again, yes, I know everything is not all rainbows and unicorns. I get it. But during the show, yes, I do see, I do have glasses on that are maroon and gold shaded. So yes, you can banter. We can talk, whatever. Hit me up in the comments here. If you have, any you want to join in, absolutely. But yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel again at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005. All right, let's get to it. Early National Signing Day. We looked at the again transfer portal guys, but it started rolling in. JP Dieter, who was at Purdue, signed. And then Filiva'a Saluni is signed, and he's a 6'6", 290-pound left tackle, right tackle. That is also signed. AP Dieter. Oh, yes. Justin Woodley from, again, defensive lineman from, he transferred from Cincinnati, signed, delivered. Sam Levitt, like I said, quarterback that was at Michigan State, transferred. Yes, officially signed today. Jordan Crook, officially signed today. He was from Arkansas. So he officially signed. Also, Salesi Manu from Bishop Minot Catholic High School, he signed today as well. High school, well, again, obviously a preps kid. Jason Brown Jr., running back out of Washington, who was Max Prep's All-American. Huge honor for this young man, this running back. And again, another one in the stable of backs that Sean Aguano, Coach Aguano, has access to. Again, very excited to see what Jason Brown Jr. Can do. Also, Terrell Kim, he flipped, but he came to ASU. And again, from Medford, Oregon, he signed. Martell Hughes from San Diego, California, a three-star linebacker from Madison High School, like I said, in San Diego. He signed. So you can see what I'm getting. I mean, it's, again, been absolutely huge. But yeah, Martell Hughes, I mean, that's a big get for the Devils as well. Also, Jaden Fortier, I mean, the number one tight end in Oregon, 6'5", 220-pound tight end. Again, tight ends coach, Coach Mons, again, making a connection with the staff. what they can do. He signed. He officially sent his letter in. Champ Westbrooks. From LA, he signed. Chris Johnson II talked about it. State champ. He'll be here in the spring for spring ball as well. And this young man from Aledo, Texas, is now a Sun Devil officially. James Giggy from Bradshaw Mountain High School. Again, a little bit up north here. Again, kids staying home in Arizona. But he's a 6'4", 235-pound middle linebacker, play tight end as well. We'll see what side of the ball ASU again, but I'm guessing probably defense. But who again? We'll see. Ramar Williams, defensive end, tackle, also a tight end. He went to Eastmark High School here in Arizona in the East Valley. 6'4", 255-pound defensive end. So, yeah, again, you play defensive end, you wanna be here. Also, Samisi Tonga from Salt Lake City signed with the Devils. Plas Johnson, a kid out of Chaparral High School, a 3-star athlete. And this young man, I mean, had obviously a heck of a career, but a heck of a season. And you see, again, what it says athlete. So again, he can be all over the field, and that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Also, Zachariah Sample from Katy, Texas. But yeah, Zachariah Sample, receiver out of Katy, Texas, signed. And then Rodney Bemage Jr. of Dixon High School in Dixon, Texas, a 4-star All-American cornerback and 6'1", 170 pounds. So, again, on the defensive side of the ball, you got to be able to compete. And again, with Rodney Bemage Jr., another huge signing there. Also, Albert Smith III, a 3-star linebacker from Louisiana, joining the mix. So, again, the reach, yes, you want local kids, but going into Louisiana, going into Texas, obviously going into California. And then Kanan Floyd, like I said, from Horizon High School, who is a 5-star punter, 4.71 GPA. Also played soccer, ran a little bit of track. Go figure. Kicker playing some soccer. But Kanan Floyd, again, reaching out to him, looking forward to hopefully getting him on the show soon. But again, yeah, I want to get him on the show, but a 5-star punter, and again, to come in right away and set that also Tony Lewis Nkuba, cornerback out of Louisville, Texas. He is signed with the Devils. By the way, happy belated to Michael Matus. His birthday was yesterday, and ASU's gifts today are these signees. Latterance Welch, that's a young man I was talking about out the cornerback out of LSU, and he's coming a little more west, from the I guess you could say the sticky, the hot and humid sticky bayou to the dry melting desert. But Latterance Welch, a defensive back, like I said, with what they lost in the secondary. With Edmonds and Torrance obviously going to the NFL draft, Jordan Clark transferring. So you gotta fill this in, and you having a guy with that experience, Latterance Welch, is signed. Is from Lafayette, Louisiana, and he's headed to ASU. And then Javen Robinson, who was the defensive back out of Washington State, I want to say. But yeah, for Washington State, and so he signed, and yeah, like I said, Javen Robinson, who's out of Winter Garden, Florida, yes, signed, and then the tight end. Marcuston Douglas, he signed. Cameron Harpool, who another tight end transfer, again, also signed. Yeah, the Florida State transfer, tight end transfer. Yeah, Marcuston Douglas. Joey Sua, he signed. The young man, the offensive line transfer from Arkansas, he signed. Raleek Brown. Look, I mean, I've already talked a lot about this young man, Raleek Brown. Again, just the mix they've added, and again, it'll be interesting to see some of these high school kids, because I know some will be here in the for spring ball. Again, definitely not trying to rush through the holidays. Want to take the time and enjoy it, obviously. But yeah, no, I mean, these signees, it's absolutely huge. Yes, I think it excites the it is exciting because, look, I mean, I mentioned we get a mix of those positions in there. Yes, you get some D line. Yes, some well needed, talented depth, and to add more depth, obviously, to the offensive line. Yes, injuries they're a part of the game, as we all know, and I've said it a million times throughout the season. But that is the one thing. And the defensive line, knock on wood, stayed relatively healthy compared to the offensive line. So, look, that's just huge, because the one thing I do know is you get a guy like, an athlete like Raleek Brown, you bring in these tight ends, which have done a great job. Then defensively, to bring in some good, obviously some experienced and talented defensive backs. And, shoring up, yes, I know. Kickers, like I said, kickers are people too. But bringing in a Javen Robinson from Washington State, bringing in a Latterance Welch from LSU, the experience in the secondary, and going into the Big 12. I mean, that's kind of been the ongoing joke. Like, if you play any defense, well, ongoing joke that I've had, like, with friends, but people saying you just kind of, defense optional. And, you always get people laughing that off, which again drives me insane. But, I guess one of the last few that actually loves defense. But I say as a fan that loves defense, but to bring in, experience in the secondary, and yes, bringing in young guys that can work with them, and you have these athletes now all over the field and more options. And what does Coach Dillingham always say about creating numbers and mismatches and what you can do based off the running game? And yeah, you did lose some dudes in the transfer portal, but you obviously got some dudes in the transfer portal. So yeah, I'm gonna be reaching out, and again, hopefully to it'd be tough to get all of them on, but get a few of these guys on, from now basically, or obviously after the new year, to the start of spring ball, so we get to know them. But yeah, also have spring sports athletes to get on too, hoops, all that good stuff. I'm with you. I got you. I feel you. Believe me. But yeah, no, to me, it's one of those things where they've done a hell of a job so far. And, it's just about 1:00. So, barring anything late, I think that kind of, barring anything late, barring anything late for ASU, that'll, until February, again, because February was the original signing, but now with early, guys can come in, and programs and coaches push for it, because there's actually, even before that, there was players that were graduating early that, whatever they had to do, they signed, they committed, they were there for spring ball. But now it's just the numbers, like compared to what it was, they do it in droves now. So that'll be very, very interesting. So going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to talk a little men's and women's hoops, give you a score update on the women's, and talk about the men's tonight, taking on Northwestern. And again, both teams needing a win to kind of get that icky taste out of their mouth. But more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch.
Audio Jungle.
right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, the National Scouting Combine coming up in February. Again, I'll drop more information about that after the new year, but it's in February again. If for players that, and it's not, I know obviously a lot of football there, but there is, you can reach out because there is chances for a lot of different opportunities as well for, men and women. But nonetheless, I'll have more info on that. Be dropping it here on Pitchfork Lunch, but it is in February. And you can go to nationalscoutingcombine.com, check out information. Nonetheless, I am Michael Carcino at Diablo00. We roll on here on Wednesday's edition, early National Signing Day of Pitchfork Lunch. And I just, again, went through the guys that have signed. And again, it's very, very exciting. I mean, ASU, like we said earlier in the week, the number 1 and number 5 player out of the state of Oregon. Highly touted running back out of Washington. Transfer portal wise, hitting the secondary, hitting the offensive line a little bit, adding more to the offensive line. High school wise, getting a 5-star punter out of Horizon High School locally here. Yes, Horizon alum and a Devil, man. Forks up. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And but just look forward to catching up with Canyon Floyd as we go from there. Also want to shout out, even though, again, going to that school down south, and I'm looking to have him on too, gang, because I've covered this young man in high school, Adam Mohammed, a kid out of Apollo High School, a running back. And, man, this kid, since his sophomore year, I mean, the more carries he got, sophomore, like, okay, and you saw explosive plays, big runs. But, yeah, junior year, last year, his senior year, this year, like they knew he was getting the ball, and a lot of times there's nothing you could do. I mean, just this kid has a knack for busting off big runs. Your offensive line does a job, and sometimes you're like, oh, so they can get that block for an extra split second. But Adam Mohammed, again, I know it is Pitchfork Lunch. I cover this young man, so that's kind of the balance. Arizona High School, looking to have him on before he heads down to that school down south. I told him it wouldn't be just trash talking and picking on him, young man had a hell of a high school career, and looking to keep it going down there, part of the Big 12 as well. So yes, I told him, getting to call quite a few of his games. I definitely want him to do well, except for his team, him to do well, but except for, one game a year, since they're both, obviously keeping the Territorial Cup going. But we'll look to have Adam Mohammed on as well. But yeah, a lot of these guys coming in, going to reach out, going to have them on here on Pitchfork Lunch, talk to coaches, like I said. But yeah, hoops. All right, men's hoops, women's hoops right now. By the way, the Pac-12 women's have 6 teams in the top 25. UCLA's at 2, USC's at 6, Colorado's at 8, Stanford's at 9, Utah's at 11, and then Washington is at 23. Half of the conference in the Pac-12. So when Natasha Adair, head coach of ASU, and Adia Barnes, head coach of Arizona, say it's going to be tough to get to 500 in the Pac-12, this is why. Because there are teams that, just because they're ranked doesn't mean they're going to beat everybody else that's unranked. So it's going to be very, very interesting as well. Yeah, Stanford's, only loss is actually to Gonzaga, who is 20 in the AP, and also actually in the coaches poll, but the SID's poll, as I say. So, but yeah, on the women's side, right now, the Devils they are 39-33, 41-33, just starting the second half against Fresno State. Like I said, it is 41-33. They outscored them 19-18 in the first, 20-15 in the second. So again, consistency there in quarters, battling. Coach Adair talks. She knows her team. It is a bummer Maggie Besselink, though, isn't playing. She has a little bit of a boot. She has not a little bit of a boot. She has a boot on her shoe. So yes, that is that. But now it's 43-35. Khadijah Toure got a layup. So yes, 43-35 right now. If we look at box score, Fresno State both Mia Jacobs and Sydney Deathman have 14 points. Or 12 points each. Sorry, 12 points. Jacobs and Deathman have they have 14 points. Pardon me. They have 14 points. And Jaylen Brown leading the Devils with 13. Triana Crisp has 6. Jalen Thompson has 4. And Jaden Simmons has 4 as well. And then off the bench, Khadija Toure has 14 points. She is 7 for 8. So talk about getting bench support, man. She came out on fire. So good for her. She's got 14, leading all scorers. Or will tie for leading all scorers. Like I said, Deathman and Jacobs for Fresno State each have 14, but it's 45-37 right now in favor of the Devils. As they are up by 8 with 8:02 left in the third. So, again, more to come from this tomorrow. And, again, I'm headed out there now. So, right after the show, I am headed out there. And then, like I said, on the men's side, they're playing Northwestern. Look, they kind of need the same performance. I mean, it's just weird how these two the men's and women's programs kind of mirror each other, coming off 2 tough losses. They need to mirror this performance. And right now the Devils, again, coming out strong in the third quarter against Fresno State. Love to see that. And like I said, Coach Adair knows their team. They're going to battle. They're going to make sure they can get through it. So, but the men's need that too tonight, and again, shot selection, whatever you want to say, move the ball, make sure, use Jose Perez's physicality, let him take guards down low. And again, not hold on to the ball for long, keep dribbling, get some motion, but get them down low, keep moving, and either kick out to an open guy if they're going to double team, or just turn around and take that shot, hit that shot. But move the ball, get the shots. Yes, crash the board. So we'll see about the starting lineup tonight. Very excited again as they, like I said, take on Northwestern, a team that was at 25 and then just fell out of the top 25. So again, still a very good team. Is Northwestern, and it'll be a big test for ASU. But again, got to bounce back on this quote-unquote neutral site game, which they had one, in Fort Worth against TCU, and now Northwestern has one against ASU there in, here in downtown Phoenix. So, a par 5 away from you could say from Desert Financial Arena, but nonetheless, a long par 5. But nonetheless. We go from there. So I'm going to get out of here again. Follow me on Twitter at Diablo, or on X. Follow me on X at Diablo00, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Again, keeping up with all the signees. I mean, with what ASU football is doing, but they crushed it. Everybody was busy today, but they definitely crushed it. Got guys in, and so yeah, definitely be reaching out and getting aiming to get a few of these gentlemen on the show and go from there. But yeah, more interviews to come. But again, 6:30 tonight. It is on ESPN2. You can check it out. But if you're out and about, get to the Footprint Center, man. Get down there. Yeah, the men take on Northwestern. Their women again. Keep rocking it, women. And hopefully you get down there before the game ends. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see who we have as guests. We'll go from there. But hey, appreciate you tuning in to Pitchfork Lunch, and I will see you tomorrow. And yes, Sun Devil Nation, you know it. As always, forks up.
They score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her 3 right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for 3. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls on. And Arizona State wins it.
takes the shot